Welcome back. In the two prior videos, we discussed how to load up the Occult Watcher Cloud and then Occult Watcher Desktop. And we also discussed the Adelheid event that's upcoming on 24th September 2023 and why it's interesting and how you can announce a station. Now, the next question is, well, if you've never done a occultation before, is there a way to practice that is more like a real life situation? What I recommend doing is going to a Cold Watcher desktop, assuming you have it, and just look at events that appear to be close by you and then try some of those. And there's one in particular that occurs 11 days before the 24th September event, and that is an occultation by the asteroid Walpurga. Walpurga is also a main belt asteroid, and we can get information about Walpurga here fairly straightforwardly. Again, it's pretty easy. You just go to the internet and you type in Walpurga asteroid. And since it's a main belt and it's a big one, there's a chance that there's a Wikipedia page on it. And here it is. There's not much to this one um, because there's not much known about this guy. But this is an event that I think is a great practice, and so let's see where it is. Let's find out some information about it. So uh, currently, there are two stations that have announced, and they're both me. I know there are a couple. There's at least one other who will be joining, and so this is the shadow. Again, this is where the shadow is. This is the one standard deviation. Uncertainty, two standard deviations, three standard deviations. Turns out these are woefully underrepresented. We're going to discuss that. So this is where uh, New Haven is in terms of the shadow, and then this is where Westport is in terms of the shadow. The event will be 5 seconds long if we are right here near the center, and the magnitude of the star is 13.1, which is a little dim. Magnitude drop is about 1.5, almost 2. The great thing is that the altitude of the star is at 47 degrees. It's in the constellation Pisces, and that's great because it's a little higher on this guy. If we go to the Occult Watcher cloud information, let's just click on uh, the map here. So you can see that here's the Westport track. Here, the green is the center line. The blue is the edge of the shadow, and then the reds are the quoted errors, which like I said, are woefully underestimated. And then this line here is the inexact position of the New Haven um, telescope, where we think we will put the New Haven telescope. The New Haven telescope is actually mobile. And so if you're anywhere along here, this would be a great thing to practice on. It's a little higher in the sky. It's a little dimmer, but since it's higher in the sky, it'll probably be easier to observe. Now, if we click on, there's a road with this guy, and this is one of the really cool things. We get to learn about one of the particular numbers involved, and that is the RUWE, which is related to the goodness of fit from the Gaia data set. But let's click on the star. And what we will get from the star is some information about this guy. Hopefully it'll come up here. I think we need to click on, that's not what we wanted. We wanted to go to the Sinbad page. There's all these different tools related to each other. Here it is. So here's the rub with this event. And this is why it's interesting and why it could be a good practice, because if we get it, there's going to be some good little science that we'll get out of it. And if we don't get it, well, that's no big deal. The star here is an eclipsing binary. It is believed to be an eclipsing binary. It's been observed by two survey programs, both looking for near-Earth asteroids. One is the Atlas, and the other one is the Catalina Sky Survey. And so both of these show evidence that both of those data sets show evidence that this guy is, in fact, um, a binary star, and one every so often you get an eclipse of one over the other. So we can just zoom in on this guy. Actually, it's kind of hard to do that with the short version here, but in fact, we want to go to the event to do that. We'll go to here. And there's a bright star over here. I assume that's a star. It no, that's a star. So a couple of nearby stars that are good and that are in the field of view of this event. So it should be a fairly straightforward one to get to. The event's going to be like along here. And let's go to, it's the RUWE. I'm sorry, I'm getting out of line here. The RUWE is a number that comes out of the Gaia fit. So it means it doesn't look like a single star is one interpretation of the high RUWE number. It just, the data points are a little bit too scattered for it to be a single star is one interpretation. The data points are scattered is the interpretation. One reason for that could be that it's a double star system. It appears to be a double star system because it's been seen as eclipsing in other surveys. So what does that mean in terms of our event? If we go back to this guy and just read the fine print, maybe, it says distance to the center in arc seconds. It is not 0. It should be 0.15. I wonder why that went to 0. So it should be about 150 milli arc seconds. So if we go to the event, then, and ask the question, well, how big is 150 milli arc seconds in terms of what the shadow can do? And we can figure that out very quickly by going to the information here. And the diameter of this thing's about 40 milli arc seconds. Okay, so 150 is like 3 of these guys. And Walpurga here is about 60 kilometers, 43 milli arc seconds in size. So if we go to the event, what we can do is we can just guesstimate it. So here is 50, I'm sorry, 43 milli arc seconds. So from the center to the edge, it's about 20 milli arc seconds. And let me see if I can annotate this. Let me annotate this. So this is 20 milli arc seconds here. This is about 45 milli arc seconds. And it can be about 150. So here's 20. That's 60. That'd be 100. So it could be actually out here. It could be that the shadow is going to be out here, or it could be on the other way around. Let me stop the annotation just for a second and zoom out. All right, and let's do that again. Now let's annotate. And first, let's erase what we did earlier. And now let's put on some lines here. So it could be right around through here. Could be the shadows here. This is the worst possible situation here. It could also be, so that would be the case where the stars are basically like this. And they're rotating around each other, presumably like that. And this is assuming it's like that. The orientation, I don't believe, is known. It could be the stars are doing this around each other or this around each other. It's not really clear. But so if the two stars are here and here at the time of observation, then in fact you would see what you would see is as the star came by, you'd see a dip for one star in your occultation curve, a dip for the other star. You get a double dip in your profile as you measure this guy. So anybody in here out to here, let's just take the land, uh, has an opportunity to contribute to this observation, which is why it's interesting. So it's quite possible that we could detect we could get information on the binary system itself by making the observations from multiple sites and getting then potentially two shadows. If it's not eclipsing, if one star is not eclipsing the other star, then we should expect to see there should be two shadows somewhere along the path. And so this is why I think it's a uh, great event to actually try as a practice for the upcoming Adelheid event, because this way we will have the possibility of doing some science with the double star system itself. And so if you can join on that one, that is on the 13th of September at also just after midnight. Let me pause just for a second here and wait for Occult Watcher to finish its synchronization. Okay, we're back. So if you're anywhere in the basically anywhere Pennsylvania East, and I keep if you click on this guy, you're going to add a telescope. I didn't mean to do that. But so if you're anywhere here, zoom in on this. So if you're anywhere here, and even into Florida, if you're anywhere in this region, you should consider actually observing this event because you can contribute to the double star nature of this particular event, and that would be fantastic if we could in fact detect a double star, uh, a double star system with more than a couple of chords here. And so until next time, clear skies.